Welcome to Ask and Learn.
So for this problem, we're going to be using the washer method. We have to integrate along the y-axis, focusing on the inner diameter and the outer diameter. So we're going to use symmetry and double the integral. So rather than doing it from a negative square root to a positive square root, we'll just go from y equals 0 to y equals the square root of r squared minus r squared, big R and little r. And then the upper limit is going to be found by using the Pythagorean theorem on the right triangle in the following picture. So what we have is this. We have our circle. There's this smaller radius right here. This smaller radius is the little r, and then the larger radius right here is the big R. We also have a larger radius right here, obviously, which is going to be the same since it's a circle. So we want to solve the circle equation for x. So first what we have is r squared equals x squared plus y squared. So solving for x, we're going to get that x equals the square root of r squared minus y squared. Then that means that our outer radius will be r1, and that is r squared minus y squared. And then our inner radius, we already see is just r. So now we're going to integrate with the washer formula. That's v equals pi times the bounds. We already decided that the bounds are 0 to the square root of r squared minus y squared. And then we plug in our r1 squared minus our r2 squared. Once we do that, we end up being able to simplify it a little bit further, and it's going to be r squared minus y squared minus little r squared dy. Simplifying this further using integrals and properties we know, we get 4/3 r big R squared minus little r squared to the 3/2. And then we have the cylindrical shell method that we could also use. So what we have is r squared equals x squared plus y squared. And in this case, what we'd have is solving for y, we'd get the square root of r squared minus x squared. And this is using this special method, but it would end up giving us the same answer, and that is a volume of 4/3 pi. 4/3 pi, and that should be here too, 4/3 pi. 4/3 pi r squared minus little r squared to the 3/2.